Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 274 based on novel. So let's start. As Wang Lin inhaled, the purple star trembled and charged toward him. Just as it was about to be devoured by Wang Lin, the moongazer serpent let out a roar. Then an extremely powerful ancient god aura exploded from the moongazer serpent. At the same time, Yi Muzi and Wu Do-chan revealed a strange light in their eyes, and the two of them charged at the purple star. However, they both had used a lot of origin energy in the last battle, so their cultivation levels had dropped directly to Nirvana Scryer. The two of them quickly charged at the purple star from two different angles. There was a hint of madness inside Wang Lin's eyes. As the two closed in, popping sounds came from his body and he grew one-fold and directly swallowed the star. The moment he devoured the star, Wang Lin felt an unimaginable power explode from his body. After the power exploded in his body, he retreated like crazy. An aura moved both inside and outside of his body, and he was filled with a powerful feeling. He felt like everything before him would be destroyed if he just threw a punch. He let out a laugh, and his body suddenly went through a change as he retreated. Popping sounds came from his body and he suddenly became a giant hundreds of feet tall. An extremely powerful aura suddenly filled the void. The hidden ancient god star between Wang Lin's eyebrows condensed and the previous 3.5 stars immediately became 4 stars. These were 4 real stars. A 4-star ancient god from the royal bloodline with inheritance from Tu Sai. This was different from an ordinary 4-star ancient god. The popping sounds inside Wang Lin's body became even more intense and he directly grew until he was about 1,000 feet tall. A powerful aura spread out like crazy. The pupils of both Yi Muzi and Wu Do-chan shrank as they stared at Wang Lin. Wang Lin clenched his fist and let out a laugh. The feeling of controlling the world filled him with confidence. At this moment, he suddenly turned around and his giant body moved past Yi Muzi and Wu Do-chan. He charged directly toward the golden dragon who was staring at all of this dumbfoundedly. The golden dragon had been injured many times and had used many spells. In addition, a large amount of his origin energy had been sealed, so the amount of power he could display had dropped directly to early-stage Nirvana Scryer. Looking at Wang Lin's 1,000-foot-tall body coming at him, the golden dragon quickly shrank back into a dragon-robed person. He then retreated while his hands formed a seal, causing the 5 talismans around his head to rapidly rotate, and he shouted, "Poison fire!" After he spoke, one of the talismans above his head began burning. A green flame containing powerful poison shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was different. Right now he was no longer a cultivator but an ancient god who had obtained the inheritance of power and the inheritance of knowledge. A 4-star royal ancient god. Although Wang Lin's avatar's power was completely sealed and he could only use the power of his ancient god body, a 4-star ancient god was powerful enough to kill this golden dragon. The poison fire contained poison that was deadly to cultivators but was really insignificant to an ancient god. When Wang Lin closed in, his giant fist smashed down. Boom! A sonic boom occurred and the punch created a gust of wind. The moment the green fire arrived, it was extinguished. Large amounts of green smoke appeared and was pushed back at the dragon-robed man. The dragon-robed middle-aged man's expression changed greatly, and his hands formed a seal and he shouted, "Tribute water! Ruin metal! Punishment wood! Buried earth!" As he roared, the 5 talismans above his head all shined and moved without any wind. Then a blue sea suddenly appeared and smashed toward Wang Lin. This sea was the tribute water, and it brought the power of an army, arriving with a roar. However, it wasn't able to stop Wang Lin's 4-star ancient god punch. The instant the sea arrived, it collapsed into countless drops of water and was pushed back. This sea indeed did have the power of an army, but Wang Lin's punch was several times more powerful, so now could the sea not collapse. The moment the tribute water disintegrated, there was a flash of gold as the sword formed by the dragon scales shot out toward Wang Lin. His fist landed, and with a bang, the dragon scale sword trembled. It began cracking at the tip, as if there was a force peeling away all the dragon scales. After the dragon scale sword, a black log followed immediately after. This huge log gave off the scent of blood and had countless souls of celestials in it. As the mournful cries echoed, countless ripples attacked Wang Lin. After the punishment wood, large amounts of black soil formed a black storm that charged at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was still indifferent, and his right fist landed on the punishment wood. The log was split in half and wasn't able to stop his fist in the slightest. The black storm formed by the black soil suddenly collapsed the moment the log was split in half. Nothing could stop the punch from Wang Lin's 4-star Royal Ancient God body. After shattering all 5 elements, this punch landed directly on the dragon-robed man. There was a heaven-shaking explosion as the dragon-robed man coughed out blood and was knocked back. All of this happened in a short period of time. From the view of Yi Muzi and company, Wang Lin's giant body had taken a step, thrown a punch, and the dragon-robed man was knocked backward. Popping sounds came from inside the dragon-robed man and a large amount of blood spray out from his body. If they were outside and his cultivation wasn't sealed, it would have been very difficult for Wang Lin to injure him. However, here, Wang Lin held all the advantages. This man in the dragon robe had most of his cultivation sealed, so he had to retreat. Wang Lin's eyes were indifferent as he moved forward and kicked with his right foot. The face of the man in the dragon robe was ashen. Unwillingness filled his eyes as his hand formed a seal and he shouted, "Power of the 5 elements." After he spoke, the 5 talismans over his head rotated rapidly and the aura of the 5 elements appeared and formed an illusory crown. Then the power of the 5 elements shot out at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his hands reached out. Although his body had grown, his bag of holding was still with him. While it is really small compared to his body, he could still open it. After he reached toward it, a crown appeared in Wang Lin's hand. The moment crown appeared, the dragon-robed man's expression changed greatly. Disbelief filled his eyes as he exclaimed, "The Dragon Saint's 5-element crown. How could you possibly have this? It even has a soul." The dragon-robed man was flustered as he gave up on his spell and retreated. At the same time, he took out a wooden token and directly crushed it. The wooden token turned into smoke and seemed to open a passage in this void. He was about to enter the passage. Just as he was about to flee, the crown in Wang Lin's hand flew out. As it rotated, it gave off 5-colored light. Then a rose appeared, and as it bloomed, the shadow of a woman appeared. The woman was filled with arrogance and was an absolute beauty. After she appeared, she pointed her jade-like hand at the dragon-robed man. With this point of her finger, the dragon-robed man let out a miserable roar and could no longer escape. It was as if he was being pulled, and he turned into a ray of light and was absorbed by the crown. The beautiful woman turned around and carefully looked at Wang Lin. She opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but no sound came out, and she eventually disappeared. This scene didn't only shock Yi Muzi and company, it even shocked Wang Lin. He quickly retrieved the crown and coldly stared at Yi Muzi and Wudo Chan. These two people now posed no threat to Wang Lin. Their cultivation had already been seriously sealed and would continue to be sealed. Then Wang Lin's gaze turned to the moongazer serpent that gave off the aura of an ancient god. Then he opened his mouth and let out a roar. The roar from his 1,000-foot body was no weaker than the moongazer serpent's, as it was the sound of an ancient god. When he let out the roar, it was heaven-shaking. Even this void didn't seem to be able to stop the roar of an ancient god. Endless thunderous rumbles formed and countless sonic booms spread out. There was only one meaning contained within this roar in the language of the ancient gods, and that was challenge. Every child ancient god had to challenge another ancient god as a passage to adulthood. Wang Lin, who held the inheritance of knowledge of Tu Sai, knew this very well. For the ancient god clan, in order to go from 3 stars to 4 stars, one required the aura of an adult ancient god, otherwise, it would be impossible to advance. This was something that couldn't be changed. Once an ancient god obtained 4 stars, they would have the qualification for adulthood. And this was the qualification to challenge. His roar was to tell the ancient god inside the moongazer serpent that he wanted to challenge him. The moment Wang Lin's roar came out, a roar came out from inside the moongazer serpent. The moongazer serpent opened its mouth and countless tentacles came out. There was a person entangled within the tentacles. This person was the same size as a normal cultivator, but with 5 blurred stars rotating on his forehead. He was entangled by tentacles as he stared at Wang Lin. "My clan member, I accept your challenge for your passage to adulthood." The moment the 5-star ancient god spoke, the tentacles around it all loosened one by one. He then moved forward and walked 3 steps. After the first step, his body grew until he was 300 feet tall, and a powerful aura surged out. Then, after the second step, he directly became a 1,000-foot giant and an ancient aura surrounded the area. When he took the third step, he became 3,000 feet tall and was like a god. Yi Muzi was shocked when he saw all of this. He never would have thought that this Shu Mu had been hiding such a shocking secret. This person was actually an ancient god. When he was sent here by the head elder of the family, he gained details about the moongazer serpent and prepared himself thoroughly. Although he was shocked, he didn't forget his task. After watching the 5-star ancient god walk out of the moongazer serpent's mouth, he didn't hesitate to charge inside. He charged directly toward the moongazer serpent's mouth. Although his cultivation had fallen greatly, his speed was not slow at all. In a flash, he disappeared into the moongazer serpent's mouth. Wu Do-chan's expression was a bit complex. He had looked through some records in the Alliance and accidentally found out the identity of the moongazer serpent. So he knew there was something inside the moongazer serpent called the moon flower. The records said that the moongazer serpent's moon flower can be used to refine a pseudo-nirvana void treasure. If I can obtain it and refine a pseudo-nirvana void treasure, then I can replace esteemed Xian Bao in the elder group. He clenched his teeth and chased after Yi Muzi. Just as the moongazer serpent closed its mouth, he entered. Only Qing Shui didn't enter the moongazer serpent's mouth. He frowned as he silently watched Wang Lin and the huge 5-star ancient god. "Clan member, my name is Lu Chen." The 5-star ancient god's eyes were filled with an ancient aura as he stepped forward. He didn't form a fist but hit with his palm. There was a heaven-shaking sound and a giant handprint formed from Lu Chen's hand and shot straight toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. This handprint was similar to the one in the celestial realm, but also very different. It shot directly toward Wang Lin, and Lu Chen's hand followed directly after the handprint. Wang Lin took a deep breath. The 4 stars on his head rotated, his right hand pointed up, and the ancient god's language came out from his mouth. Since he was now a 4-star ancient god, he could use some of the ancient god's spells. Wang Lin had waited a very long time for this day. In an instant, a giant vortex appeared before him. Ancient god's weapon. As Wang Lin roared, bursts of purple lightning came out of the vortex and then a long spear flew out. This spear was illusory, and it seemed like it was formed by the purple lightning. Wang Lin grabbed the spear and swept forward. It collided with the incoming handprint. A loud rumble was triggered when they collided, and the handprint was cut in half. However, Wang Lin's spear was immediately grabbed by Lu Chen. With a squeeze, thunder came out from the spear and then the spear collapsed. Wang Lin took a step out. Although his body was weak compared to Lu Chen's, he still gave off an imposing aura. His right hand formed a fist and he threw it out. Lu Chen looked at Wang Lin with a complex gaze. He had been forced to consume a star to refine Ji Xiantian into a puppet. Although he had left the moongazer serpent's body, there were unspeakable difficulties. Even now, he didn't know if he was the moongazer serpent or an ancient god. He had assimilated with this moongazer serpent for far too long. His mind was invaded by the moongazer serpent. In his view, he wasn't worthy of being called an ancient god, he was merely the puppet of the moongazer serpent. He had always struggled between whether he should pass the inheritance to Wang Lin or devour Wang Lin. While he was struggling when he voluntarily gave out a star to Ji Xiantian, perhaps in his heart he meant to gift that star to Wang Lin. At this moment, he took a deep breath, his right hand formed a fist, and he threw a punch. There was a bang, and Wang Lin felt his right arm go numb and he was forced back. Lu Chen was also forced back several steps, and the stars between his eyebrows became even more blurred. The reason Wang Lin had challenged Lu Chen was because he knew that even though Luo Chen wasn't a child ancient god, he was extremely weak right now. The stars between Lu Chen's brows being blurry proved his point. As opposed to Wang Lin, who only had 4 stars, the stars were solid and shined brightly. More importantly, Wang Lin was of the royal bloodline. Even if an ordinary ancient god had devoured Lu Chen's star and their cultivation level became higher than Wang Lin's, they would still be no match for the royal clan spells. The royal clan of the ancient gods were real kings. Not only could they use royal clan spells, they also had royal clan weapons. As he retreated, Wang Lin took a step forward and charged out at Lu Chen. The two continued to exchange bombardments of fists with each other. Ripples echoed and loud rumbles spread across the void. At the start of the battle, Wang Lin was at a disadvantage, but the more he fought, the fiercer he became. Wang Lin gradually grew familiar with the power of a 4-star ancient god as he fought. Oftentimes, a powerful storm would be set off with each punch. The punches also contained the spells of the ancient gods, so his battle with Lu Chen became even more intense. With a bang, the two parted. As Wang Lin retreated, he raised his large hands and his eyes lit up. He began chanting in the language of the ancient gods, and then the shadow of a towering ancient god appeared before him. It immediately let out a roar toward Lu Chen. The complex gaze in Lu Chen's face became even more intense, and he also raised his hands. The shadow of an ancient god appeared behind him, and it was taller than 100,000 feet. It was as if a real giant had just appeared out of nowhere. However, this giant's body was extremely bloated. It looked more like a moongazer serpent than an ancient god. What was even more terrifying was that there was armor around this giant, and just its imposing aura was enough to make ordinary cultivators lose their wits. As the armored giant roared, Wang Lin and Lu Chen closed in on each other once more, causing explosions to echo once more. This time it wasn't just the two of them fighting, even the giants behind them began to fight. As Wang Lin laughed, his left hand reached out and recalled that weapon he saw to send use in the ancient god's body. Ancient god 2-size life treasure, the god-slaying spear. As he thought about the spear, the language of the ancient gods came out from his mouth. Although he wasn't able to call out the true body of 2-size life treasure with his 4-star power, he could call out an illusion. As Wang Lin reached out, large amounts of red mist appeared out of nowhere. This red mist churned and gathered in Wang Lin's hand. Then a 1,000-foot-long spear suddenly appeared. This spear was 1,000 feet long and 10 feet wide, and it flashed red. It was the very famous god-slaying spear of the ancient god clan. Even the void began to twist around it, and as the spear gently swept by, a net-like object appeared. The net-like object in the void was formed by the powerful formation that cut off origin energy. Normally, it was impossible for it to appear, but under the swing of the god-slaying spear, it was forced to show its original form. The god-slaying spear was something only the royal clan could use. When a royal clan ancient god reached adulthood, they would choose a weapon. These weapons were passed down from previous generations, but only the royal clan could use them. When Lu Chen saw the god-slaying spear, the complex gaze in his eyes became even stronger. He could tell that Wang Lin's ancient god inheritance was extremely noble. He speculated that this person was a junior that had received the royal inheritance and cultivated as an ancient god on his own. However, after he truly saw the god-slaying spear, he was not only able to confirm his speculation, he also knew where Wang Lin's inheritance came from. To sigh. I didn't think even he had died. Lu Chen let out a sigh. The complex emotions in his eyes disappeared, and it was replaced with a gentle gaze. 2-size inheritor, let me see how much of this illusory god-slaying spear's power you can use. It was as if the knot in Lu Chen's heart had been loosened. While laughing, his right hand reached out and the bone in his right arm began to move. Bone spikes suddenly came out from his skin, and in an instant, Lu Chen's right arm was covered in bone spikes. They extended like crazy, and in the blink of an eye, they were 1,000 feet long. They formed an extremely strange yet ferocious weapon. Wang Lin gripped the illusory god-slaying spear, and battling intent filled his body. As he held the spear, the feeling that he was too shy appeared once more. Right now Lu Chen was the only person in his vision. "I'm ancient god Wang Lin." Wang Lin stepped out and the god-slaying spear swept forward. He heard popping sounds and then a large net appeared before him. This net was illusory and it covered the entire void. Lu Chen laughed and also closed in. The stinger formed by his right arm swung forward and directly matched Wang Lin's god-slaying spear. There was a bang when the two of them collided. Then popping sounds echoed as the two continued to fight. Their violent battle caused a net-like object to appear. Battle intent filled Wang Lin's eyes, and during the battle, he threw the god-slaying spear. Then both of his hands met before him with his thumb and forefinger linked, forming a diamond. He shouted, "God-slaying seal." This god-slaying seal was one of the spells of the ancient gods, and it was something only the royal bloodline had. The god-slaying spear flew out like lightning toward Lu Chen. At the same time, the god-slaying seal shot out in a diamond shape and flashed forward. Lu Chen laughed and shouted, "Good." He waved his right hand and collided with the god-slaying spear, creating an amazing shockwave. Then the god-slaying seal arrived and an unimaginable storm was set off in the void. This storm swept across this void as a large amount of the net revealed itself. As the net flashed, two ghostly lights suddenly appeared under it. The ghostly lights revealed a cold and ruthless gaze. It was as if it was looking through the net from the outside. Moongazer serpent. Ancient god, the moment that cold and ghostly light appeared, Qing Shui's originally calm expression changed drastically. He stared at where the ghostly light appeared and his eyes shined. However, that ghostly light immediately disappeared as if it never existed. Whether it was the ghostly light's appearance or disappearance, Qing Shui actually didn't see anything. However, just at that instant, there was a terrifying feeling that made all the hair on his body stood up. He had never had this feeling, even when he met his teacher, Bai Fan. However, subconsciously, he felt as if he had felt this before. This contradicting feeling made it so Qing Shui couldn't find the reason. His expression was gloomy and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. He remained vigilant and stared ahead while searching his memories for the answer to this contradicting feeling. As Lu Chen laughed, he suddenly retreated from the god-slaying seal. Large amounts of the bone spikes on his arms had collapsed, but he was excited. He looked at Wang Lin with admiration. After the bombardment, Wang Lin also retreated. The god-slaying spear in his hand was almost transparent now. Although he looked normal, he was greatly shocked. Earlier, Wang Lin clearly felt the heaven-defying bead that had been fused with his origin soul and been dormant for a long time unexpectedly trembled for a moment. This was an extremely rare occurrence. When the heaven-defying bead trembled, a sliver of mysterious power came out from the bead and went into Wang Lin's body. This caused his eyes to shine blue for that instant. Borrowing the moment of retreat, Wang Lin's gaze swept his surroundings. At this moment, it was as if hundreds of thousands of bolts of thunder had exploded in his mind. He saw the ghostly light under the net that not even Qing Shui could see. When the ruthlessness from the ghostly light landed in Wang Lin's eyes, it was as if he had devoured a piece of never-melting ice. His entire body was cold inside and out. The two ghostly lights seemed to notice Wang Lin's gaze. They revealed a trace of shock and gradually disappeared. What the hell is this? As Wang Lin retreated, his mind shook. When he saw Qing Shui's gaze, he knew Qing Shui must have noticed it too. At this moment, Lu Chen laughed and closed in once more. He raised his right hand and mercilessly gripped. The 5 stars on his forehead rotated. In the blink of an eye, the 5 stars flew off his forehead and embedded onto Lu Chen's fist. When his fist arrived, the 5 stars appeared on his fist. They rotated rapidly until they formed a vortex. As Lu Chen's fist closed in, the vortex formed a storm. It looks like Lu Chen didn't notice the abnormality. He is a 5-star ancient god. Yet he unexpectedly didn't notice. Instead, it was Qing Shui who did. Wang Lin felt a lot of dread toward the two ghostly lights under the net. At this moment, Lu Chen's right fist swept by. Wang Lin's hand immediately swung forward and the power of a 4-star ancient god surged out. Wang Lin borrowed his power to change directions and moved far away from the net. I noticed it because of the mysterious power from the heaven-defying bead. Qing Shui must have his own secret for being able to detect it. But just what exactly is hidden inside the void? Popping sounds echoed as Wang Lin and Lu Chen exchanged moves. Their collisions turned into endless rumbles that echoed across the void. As Lu Chen's fist continued to bombard Wang Lin, the stars on his hand produced a suction force that actually pulled Wang Lin in. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and the 4-star between his eyebrows spun rapidly. They merged into his right hand as he met Lu Chen's incoming fist. If the battle of two ancient gods was placed in normal space, it would immediately cause the space to collapse. However, they weren't affected here. As the rumbles continued, Wang Lin retreated and escaped the suction force from Lu Chen's fist. Lu Chen took a step and instantly closed in on Wang Lin while waving his fist. Countless fierce bone spikes appeared from his body. They were filled with the power of an ancient god and shot toward Wang Lin like arrows. Wang Lin's right hand shook the god-slaying spear and swept it forward. Without any hesitation, the language of the ancient gods came from his mouth. Origin ancient god, borrowing the power of the ancestors. The moment he spoke, a large vortex appeared before him and absorbed all the bone spikes. The moment the vortex appeared, an earth-shattering roar echoed. For the first time, excitement appeared in Lu Chen's eyes. He smiled and said, "The origin ancient god spell that borrows power from the ancestors that only the royal clan can use. I, Lu Chen, haven't seen it in a long time." As he spoke, he stopped in the void and his hands formed a ring. An illusory ancient god star appeared above his forehead. Shortly after, one star after another appeared. When Lu Chen moved his hand, the 5 stars emitted a gentle light and began to rotate. Then something flew out from the ring. "Ancient god beast spirit!" Lu Chen shouted. Then the thing that flew out flashed and turned into a giant elephant. This elephant was completely black and its long fur looked extremely ferocious. Its 2 long tusks gave off a white glow and its rough trunk was like a powerful arm. The elephant lifted its body as it let out a roar and mercilessly stomped down. This created violent rumbles, and a savage flame came out from this giant elephant's body like crazy. Not only did the ancient god clan members have bodies that could destroy worlds, they also had incomparable magic spells. This beast spirit was one of the powerful spells of the ancient gods. Only 5-star ancient gods could use it, and it had to be refined for a long time before they could use it. Almost every adult ancient god had this spell. The first thing every ancient god did when they reached adulthood was find their own beast spirit to refine. Tu Sai also had a beast spirit. Back in the land of the ancient god, the beast that prevented Tuo Sen from obtaining the inheritance of knowledge was Tu Sai's beast spirit. At this moment, Lu Chen used the spirit beast spell, and the giant elephant charged forward. The vortex before Wang Lin suddenly changed. As the giant elephant closed in, a giant fist came out from the vortex. This fist had blue skin. When the fist came out, it collided with the giant elephant. Boom! An unimaginable sound spread across the void, creating a storm that could cause the world to collapse. The giant elephant let out a roar and its large body was pushed back. One of its 2 tusks broke in half and dissipated into dust. Lu Chen also retreated, and the admiration in his eyes became even stronger. Wang Lin coughed out a mouthful of blood and quickly retreated. He avoided the impact from the ripple and the net. Lu Chen looked at Wang Lin and slowly said, "You are qualified to become an ancient god." The moment he spoke, the moongazer serpent in the distance revealed a demonic glow in its eyes. It then let out a roar. This roar caused Lu Chen's body to tremble and struggle filled his eyes. Large amounts of veins bulged and his expression became ferocious. Looking at the moongazer serpent, he roared, "Damn animal, don't interfere with me anymore." The moongazer serpent's eyes became cold and its roar became even more intense. There was a wool inside that roar that made Lu Chen tremble and reveal a painful expression. However, just at this moment, a shocking change suddenly occurred. A large portion of the net appeared in the space where the moongazer serpent was and those 2 ghostly lights appeared once more. Qing Shui had been watching all of this closely. At this moment, his eyes lit up and he stared at the net near the moongazer serpent. His face turned extremely gloomy. Wang Lin also saw this, and his pupils shrank. As for Lu Chen, he also noticed that something was wrong. The moongazer serpent's large body suddenly trembled and it let out a roar. There was confusion and fear in its eyes, and it was about to rush out from this place. The flashing net closest to the moongazer serpent suddenly tore. The instant it tore, the opening widened and revealed a vast expanse. It was as if the seal in this void was ripped open, and the two ghostly lights charged out. The moment that ghostly lights charged out, Wang Lin, Qing Shui, and Lu Chen were all startled. "Teacher!" Qing Shui's eyes was filled with disbelief. "Tu Sai?" Wang Lin gasped. His scalp felt numb and he was about to flee. "Ancestor!" Lu Chen stared at the thing that charged out of the crack and was startled. All three of them saw different things. 7-colored gas came out from the crack. This gas was very dense and surrounded the moongazer serpent before mercilessly dragging it toward the crack. The moongazer serpent struggled and let out angry roars. However, its large body seemed to have lost all power to resist and could only be dragged into the crack. As the moongazer serpent was dragged in, the crack quickly expanded. At this moment, not only did the moongazer serpent's angry roar lose its effect, even Yi Muzi and Wudo Chan, who were inside the moongazer serpent, were shocked. The two of them were moving quickly through the moongazer serpent when it was filled with the 7-colored gas. As the 7-colored gas filled the moongazer serpent's body, the two of them found that the rate at which they were losing origin energy had reached a horrifying degree. Large amounts of 7-colored gas came out through the crack. The gas split into 3 and went straight for Wang Lin, Lu Chen, and Qing Shui. This video will end here.